Welcome to Teach Your Toddlers to Talk. This is a 4-part series, and today we will be talking about part 3 of this series. And we'll be talking about using books to encourage your child's language development. If you didn't catch parts 1 and parts 2 of this series, please go back and watch those as they provide helpful information for teaching your toddlers to talk. So reading to your child daily is so important for language development, and it's one of the best ways and the easiest ways that you can use to encourage language development in your child. Books allow you to introduce vocabulary and situations that your child might not otherwise encounter on a daily basis. And they allow your child to think through really challenging situations, understand sequencing of events, and examining situations from different perspectives. And books are really a great way to encourage language development across across childhood. But specifically today, we'll talk about how to use books to help your toddler to start to learn language. Reading also encourages early reading skills. Even when they're toddlers, it's important to be encouraging those early reading skills, such as page turning, eventually word recognition, reading from left to right, and really a lot more. So reading alone is amazing. Just reading the words on the page to your child, that's amazing. But there are some ways that you can make it better to encourage your child's language development. So the first thing that you need to do for your child when you're reading is to pick a book that's appropriate for them. And if you don't have a book that's appropriate for them, you can also use books that are more complicated, but maybe make them more to their level. So what we need to do is to make sure that we are nurturing the level that they are at. It's also really important to find a situation that can best get your child's attention. So obviously a lot of kids that are toddler age don't have great attention. Even if they don't have actual attention problems, kids that age don't have great attention. So one of the things that I always recommend to my clients is that if you're having trouble, if your child will not sit in your lap to listen to a book from beginning to end, is to try reading to them at a time when they're already confined and possibly entertained by another activity. So for example, you might read to them while they're eating dinner. So they're in their high chair, they're buckled up, and they're eating dinner and they're being entertained by their dinner, but you're also reading to them and encouraging their language development. Another time would be maybe during bath time. So they're entertained by the bathtub, but then you're also reading to them and getting their attention with that book and encouraging language development during bath time. You might also try it like when they're in the car, like in a car seat, like let's say you're waiting on in the carpool line, waiting for big brother, big sister to pick them up. You might try reading to them at a time like that. So picking your book. Really, if you're reading to a 2-year-old, you don't want to pick a book that has tons and tons of dialogue on it that you'll lose them on the very first page. So you want to pick something with a little less reading and with great pictures. But like I said, even if the pages have a lot of words, you can make them not have a lot of words just by how you read it. So for example, if I wanted to read Maisie Cleans Up to my child, but they don't have a very long attention span, the book would start out like, Maisie is cleaning her house today. Ding dong, someone's at the door. Who could it be? Okay, well, if your child is having trouble sitting there, then you might just say, Maisie's cleaning, the doorbell rang, and turn the page. Who is it? It's Charlie, and turn the page. So you're just kind of simplifying that, the words on the page to make it more appropriate for your child's attention, but still getting the message across to them. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of how I would read a book to a child that is learning to develop speech and language skills. So we're going to look at this book, Find the Duck. This book does have pretty simple language in it, but what I'm going to do is I will read the words on the page, and then I will I'm going to add in other dialogue, and that's very important for language development, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is Duck. Quack. Can you find him on every page? What a mess someone has made. Can you spot the duck on this page? Oh, let's see. Where is the duck? Can you find him? There he is. He's hiding. He's hiding in the toilet paper. Oh my goodness. What's he doing that for? Okay, so I've read the words on the page, but now I've also had some dialogue with a kid, and now they're thinking about it. They're thinking, where is he hiding, and what did he do that for? And those kinds of things are important because you want them to be actively thinking while they're reading. And they're also involved. So now they're looking for things, and they're taking some ownership over this book as well. Something else that you can do that you don't necessarily have to do from the very beginning, but as they're starting to get a little older, I'll just throw this tip in here. It's always good to kind of take your finger and follow it along so that they understand the connection between the words and the pictures, and that kind of helps them with like some pre-reading skills, and that also teaches them that words are read from left to right. Again, not that important in the toddler years, but that can be something that can help them in the future if you start to do that for some of the books that you read with them. Okay, so then when we want to turn the page, I also want them to take ownership over turn the page. Do not let them turn the pages on their own. You read the words, you be in control of the book, but then give them some sort of cue to tell you that they want to turn the page. So if they can say turn the page, great, say turn the page. If they can say turn, say turn. If they can't do that, then teach them to pat, turn page. If they still won't do that, either take their hand, go turn page, and then we turn page. Do you think Duck is stuck in the sink? Can you spot his orange beak? It's no good hiding there, little duck. Someone needs you in the bathroom. Oh my goodness, where is Duck? Look at him. He's in the sink. Where is Duck? In the sink. So now you're also teaching some where questions, and then you could be like, why do you think he's in the sink? So you're teaching some prediction skills, even if they're not answering, they're hearing you, and it's encouraging language development. A lot of labeling. So Duck is swimming in the bubbles. Do you see bubbles? Pop, 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 pop. And this is where you might even grab your own bubbles and start blowing bubbles and popping them just like Duck. You might read this book while they're in the bathtub, and now you splash in the bathtub and you get your boats and use those kinds of things to correlate with this book. So you can do kind of themed things like that. Okay, so the most important thing though about reading is that you make it fun for your child. If it's not fun, they're not going to want to come back to it again. So make it a fun activity for them, and they'll want to come back to it over and over again. And then the second thing is I want you to always make sure that you get through from start to finish with a book. First of all, like I told you, you want to teach them that you are in charge of the activity, but also you want to teach your child that they need to finish what they start. That's a very important skill to be learning early on, and it helps with their attention and just with overall being able to finish things the way that they should be able to do as they get old. So even if you have to read the book very quickly in 15 seconds, you get from start to finish. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. If you start off reading the first page at a normal pace, and then have to speed up super fast to get all the way to the end, and then you get to the end and you say, the end, we're done, great job, you did it, you finished it. Then they're going to be excited too. They don't know why, but they're going to be excited, and they finish the book. And then hopefully as they get more and more used to it and they consider it to be more fun, then you can read at a slower, more language encouraging pace. I hope these tips were helpful. Please join us again for part 4. And I hope you all have a great day.